Yay! There's my audience, my wonderful work peeps that I work with, that were so gracious to come and sit and listen to this. All right. All right. So, my speech today that I'm going to be speaking to you about is an informative speech about facility dogs and child victims. First question you might want to ask is, what is a facility dog? A facility dog is a specially trained dog that has been through hours of training to help people within an established facility. These could be schools, hospitals, rehabilitation centers. They can assist people with learning disabilities, emotional disorders, handicapped people, and many more different kinds of people that might need help within a facility itself. You get the question, is a facility dog another term for a service dog? So we look at Canine Companions for Independence, the website, and it tells us that a service dog is actually trained for one specific person for one specific reason. A facility dog, however, is trained by one person but to assist many different people within one facility. So you ask, so how can a dog like this be helpful to a child victim, whether it be within an interview or in the courtroom setting? So these dogs, we all know that a dog itself, just the presence, can help lower anxiety. It makes us feel good whenever we have a dog near us. A happy dog makes you happy. So the Children's Advocacy Center nationwide, they actually use these dogs while they're doing interviews with child victims to help them feel more secure and more comfortable while being interviewed by the interviewer. So one question that people ask, what is a Children's Advocacy Center? The Children's Advocacy Center is a place where we as investigators, also DSS workers, will take children who are either victims or witnesses of crimes to be interviewed by a specifically trained interviewer to where the questions are not leading and they're not threatened. So that way we're able to get the child's story in their own words. So these dogs are also, even after this CAC process, sometimes they're allowed inside courtrooms. Being in a courtroom, even being an adult, can be very intimidating. So you can only imagine for a 5-6-year-old child who is this tall, how intimidating that would also be. So this dog will actually help them. Will sit at their feet while they're being spoken to by either the prosecution or the defense or even the judge, and will help them in feeling more secure. So next thing you might wonder is, when are they used? We covered that just a moment ago a little bit. First step in a case that we have with a child victim, like I said, they're taken to the CAC. Our CAC that we have in Bristol is used by Bristol, Washington County, and other surrounding jurisdictions. We are lucky enough to have our own facility dog named Nomad, and he is wonderful. We got Nomad about a year ago, a little bit longer than a year ago. And before the child even walks into the center, they know before they go in that there is a dog on premises. There is always a picture of Nomad up that actually tells them that there is a dog in the facility. Once they come in, the handler then of the dog gives the child the option. If they want to meet Nomad, they can. If not, they don't have to. Some kids don't like dogs, period. Some kids are allergic to dogs, so they don't want anything to do with them, and that's fine. But if they want to meet Nomad, they do. If they're able to establish a rapport with Nomad and they want Nomad in the interview with them, Nomad goes into the interview with them. During that time, the dog can lay at their feet. The children are able to pet the dog. I've seen them practically lay on top of this dog, and he will lay there and take it. Sometimes you have children who have been through very traumatic experiences who don't feel comfortable talking to adults about what happened. They will talk to the dog instead. So sometimes that is very helpful for them. Same thing with the courtroom. If we want a dog inside of a courtroom, the prosecution will make a motion to the judge to have the dog inside the courtroom. At that point in time, the judge can make a ruling. We've only had the dog inside the courtroom one time so far, but we've only asked one time. And the judge was very permitting on that, and we were able to have Nomad with our victim, which helped a lot. So how are these dogs trained? Assistance Dogs International tells us that before the dog has even began to be trained specifically on what they're going to be doing, these dogs must be able to respond to 90% of the commands that they are given in public and in private on the first time. So they get one chance pretty much and just one command, and they've got to be able to do it. They have to demonstrate basic obedience skills. They have to meet standards that are laid out by the assistance dogs in public. The dogs are partnered with working professionals or facilitators that are inside the facility they're going to be in. So along with just the dog being able to have their skill set, facilitators also have to demonstrate that they can keep their dog calm and display good behavior. They have to know the training techniques and be able to demonstrate those. They have to know how to care for the dog. They also have to be able to say that they can maintain the training. Just like most other professions, you have ongoing training. We also have that with the dog. You have to continue training with the dog. So then you look at legal cases where these dogs have been used. There are several instances where facility dogs have been used in both interviews and court cases throughout the country. Just here in Bristol, our average CAC will do around 10 to 15 interviews per week. Nomad is in a majority of those interviews, helping those children feel more at ease and talk to the interviewer. Like I had said, our first court case here in Bristol, Virginia, where we used Nomad was in 2014, and for us it's a relatively new idea. So it was a little hard to get some people on board to make them understand that. However, even as far back as 2005 in Washington State that was actually the first court case I could find showing where these dogs have been used in court cases with children. I found this information on the Michigan State University College of Law website. And along with having these dogs in these courtrooms, they also have their own set of rules inside these courtrooms. They have to be kept under control. The judge will say, they don't want the jury to see this dog because it makes the victim look even more vulnerable than they did before. So even if the jury does see the dog come in, sit down with the victim, they will tell the jury, act like you didn't see this dog, and you will keep the dog out of sight pretty much. And they also cannot interfere with the examination of the defense. A lot of times you got a child sitting there and a defense attorney starts to approach. A lot of dogs will feel the need to defend this child. That dog can't do that. It has to lay there and be nothing. Perfect example of this I found on Policy Research Association website with a dog named Avery. Avery was used by Summit County, in New York in 2013. They had applied for a facility dog, and they received Avery in August of 2013. And in just a couple of months after that, they had a case with a 10 and a 7-year-old where they were two sisters, and they had been violently raped by the defendant. The children were terrified of this person. So they met Avery, and just by having Avery with them, they were both able to go into the courtroom. They were able to tell their story and were able to testify against this defendant. It's believed without this dog, that wouldn't have happened. So in conclusion, we find that these facility dogs are really something that are needed, I believe, throughout the whole country. They help these children during these horrible times that they have. They also help the staff where they work because these people see the worst of the worst day in, day out. So having this dog around kind of helps with that also. The court systems have luckily seen the usefulness in these dogs also. So just in conclusion, we find that sometimes comfort comes in 4 legs and a wagging tail. And that's it. And we'll show they all still stayed, believe it or not. Good for them. Thank you guys.